Anchor down, Admiral Nation. It's episode 3 of the Admiral Brag Sheet, produced by All Things MacArthur, and I'm joined once again by my co-hosts Wesley and Tripp. And Tripp's going to start us off with a little update on the state swim tournament that happened last weekend.
Yeah, so last Saturday, our swim team got up north and to the Tupelo Aquatic Center, and we're swimming in the state championship swim meet that has every team that qualified and passed through their region, North State or South State, and they meet in Tupelo and swim it out at a meet. So we had a very young swim team, and we put together some really nice performances with some of our experienced swimmers. So let's start with Savannah Grimsley. Savannah finished third place in the 50-yard freestyle, which is probably the most hard race to win. So that's very good. That's a medal. Congrats to her for that. And then again, fourth place in the 100-yard freestyle.
And she battled through an injury that was really big, tough to fight through. That she was really pushing off of that ankle and did a good job battling through that all season.
Yeah, so that for sure, and to still be a definite top 5 swimmer in the state with that is very kudos to her. And as a team, we finished 10th with the girls and 15th with the boys. Like I said, very young team with a very promising future ahead of them. We have guys in middle school that are swimming in our relays. A lot of excitement to come for the swim team, and congrats to them for a long season. I'm sure it's wear and tear on their bodies, and they deserve their well-needed break.
Great job by our coaches. Coach Missy Allen and Coach Stephanie McNeil did a good job with a young team this year. They're excited about the future, and we are too. Did a great job out there swimming. We talked about it last week. It's a very difficult sport, and very hard to get in there every single day and motivate yourself. I know they had a lot of early morning practices, some very hot pools at the beginning of the year. You guys remember us having to battle through the wet bulb heat index and all that, and just a good job by our swim team this year. So moving on now to Friday night football. We traveled off to St. Martin, and it was another big Admiral win. Scored 48 points in the first half, we scored 42 points in the first half, I believe it was. But we could have had an extra touchdown at the very end. Cam Joseph came up with a pick six, and the refs called it back for a little block in the back. Seemed like the flag got thrown when Cam was in the end zone, and the flag was on the 50-yard line. So, but you can't get too greedy with stuff like that when you're up big. And St. Martin obviously looked like they had a pretty young team, but it was another dominant performance by the Admirals. Just kind of go through a little bit of the stats. Nico Williams went 11 for 12, almost perfect again this week. He went 10 for 10 last week. 11 for 12 this week for 149 yards and a touchdown. Our running backs, once again, it's kind of a 4-headed monster back there, almost a 5-headed monster when you throw in Nico into that. The two guys really led the way. DeCorion Payton, we hadn't really talked about him enough this year. He's that explosive, quick guy. Yeah, he's only four rushes, but had 59 yards and a touchdown. DeCorion's kind of that spark plug guy, so, exciting to have him back there. And Cooper Crosby, another good game. Again, only 5 rushes for 64 yards. It's almost like we don't have enough balls to share with everybody because we have so many weapons back there. Nico had only 3 rushes for 6 yards, but had 2 touchdowns. He kind of had those big, goal line touchdowns for us. And then the team ran the ball 25 yards for 183 yards. Receiving wise, Cam Joseph, I mentioned him with the pick 6 earlier. But he also had 3 catches for 25 yards. Gavin Brown, 4 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. The defense did an outstanding job, only allowing 100 yards the whole day. And the only touchdown that we give up at the end of the ball game, we had our second and third string defense was in there. They threw a little touchdown over the top of us as the buzzer went off. So in my eyes, kind of a shutout for us, but another big win for the Admirals, and kudos to them. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the week to come. Girls golf. Wesley's got a little report. They're playing in the state championship this week.
Yeah, so we have the Girls Golf State Championship starting today, October 23rd through the 24th. It's up in Lewisburg, Mississippi at Wedgewood Golf Course or Golf Club. And we have 4 girls playing: Lala Lee, Avery McHugh, Jordan Ladner, and Camille Hebert. They're one of 14 teams that made it, so huge props to them. It should be a good week, and I'm looking forward to see some good results from the ladies.
Yeah. I know they've put in a lot of hard work this week. A lot of those athletes that you're talking about are multi-sport athletes. Lala plays a lot of sports. Avery McHugh, she's cheering and playing golf. Jordan Labner was our, multi-sport athlete of the year last year. She does just about anything there is out there. So it's great to see a team that's successful that has multi-sport athletes. It's one of those things that we encourage a lot this year, expecting them to have their best meet of the year. That's all you can hope for at this time of the year, is you just do the best that you can possibly do. So moving on now to what will be the game of the week this week. Friday night, we've all had this one circled for a long time. The Admirals are hosting Ocean Springs in football. Both teams 3-0 in the region right now. The winner most likely is going to win the region, have a chance to host possibly 2 playoff games. Really excited about this one. Look, for a long time now, people have been talking about this game. People have had their opinions about things. There's polls out. There were times where we were the top. There's been times where Ocean Springs is the top. But at the end of the day, it's 2 really evenly matched teams. I got a little bit of a tail of the tape, and right now, offensively, we're averaging 36.875 points per game. Ocean Springs 36.75 points.
So a little bit more than them.
Yeah, it's just barely a little bit more than them. Passing yards per game, Gulfport has the edge, 189.1 to 180.3. Rushing yards per game, Gulfport has the edge, 194.4 to 188.9 for Ocean Springs. Both teams have turned the ball over 3 times this year. Again, as even as you can possibly be. Both defenses, really good defenses, and some of these stats are skewed for both teams because both teams have had second and third string players in the second half. I think, honestly, if both teams starters play the whole game, this points per game would be down. But right now, Gulfport giving up 17.375 points per game. Ocean Springs 15.875 points per game. So close once again. I think the biggest difference in the 2 teams right now, and Ocean Springs does have that edge, is they take the ball away from their opponent more than we do. They've got 19 turnovers forced. We have 9 turnovers forced. So I think the key to the game is, can we keep them from getting the ball back from us? So it's going to be a great game. Like I said, we've talked a lot about it, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it at the end of this episode. But exciting. Friday night at 7 o'clock, Milner Stadium. Everybody needs to get there early, be loud, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more at the end. But can't wait for this Friday night. It's going to be big. But we've also got a good weekend in the Admiral athletic department. We've got the boys and girls soccer jamboree. Trip's going to tell us a little bit about.
Let's go. First start of the year.
Trip's excited about this.
I'm pumped. But yeah, both boys and girls teams are here at our Gulfport hosting the jamboree. Well, all the boys side will be at the turf on the track, and then the girls will probably be at the VA fields.
Probably
right?
the VA fields. If you don't know where that is, it's a little bit south of the Herb. Yeah. And the reason for that is we've put our ryegrass down at the Herb, and we're waiting for it to come in fully, and we don't want to get on it before it's ready to go.
It looks great, though. Yeah. It really does. But anyway, we have, on the girls' side, we have Pass Christian, George County, and St. Pat's coming over. And then on the boys' side, we have Pass Christian and George County coming over. Both girls and boys start at 1 with Pass Christian at their respective fields. And then the girls go back at 4 and play St. Pat's. They have a 2-game break. And then the guys at 3 against George County. Yeah. So, I'm pumped. I know we have more coming for that later in a couple minutes, but that's going to be a fun weekend and a long day on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I know y'all have put in a lot of work in this off season, from the summer to the fall workouts, and just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that. And I know the boys are excited about what they have coming back from last year. Got a chance to play in the South State Championship game and went to overtime. Am I right, Trip?
Yeah.
And then, the girls have something to prove, I think, too. They played in the state championship game, lost a couple of those big-time seniors to graduation. But, it's Gulfport Lady Admiral soccer. I think you can always expect big things from them.
Sure.
So can't wait to talk about that a little bit later on in the episode as well. But then we've got the boys and girls basketball jamboree this Saturday. They're playing at different places. The boys are playing at Pass Christian, and they're going to be playing PCS, a little private school out of Hattiesburg, and Picayune. It's going to be an opportunity for a new coach to start showing his system. Coach Hesser came from Missouri out of retirement after coaching college basketball for 17 years, and then a lot of high school experience before that. So we're looking forward to seeing what the Admirals put out on the court. And then the Lady Admirals traveling to Bay Springs for their jamboree. They're playing West Jones and Bay Springs. So jamboree is just a great opportunity to go out and not have a game count against your record or for your record, but just go kind of instill some of those things that you've done in the off season. What are jamborees like as a player, Wesley? From a baseball perspective, what's a jamboree kind of like?
Yeah, it's just a time to get out there early in the season and showcase your abilities.
Yeah.
Kind of grow with your team, see what the team is about. You practice a lot, you practice and you get ready and you prepare, but not until that first jamboree, that first game, you really know what you're about.
Yeah.
So it's a good early season tester to see how your team's going to perform, and it's fun, and it's time to go out there and compete and have fun.
Yeah. Trip, what's your mindset going into Saturday?
Oh my God, I could talk about it for years, but I'm so ready. I mean, we got ridiculed kind of with injuries last year, but we still pressed through, and honestly, we probably could have put ourselves in a position where we could have played and had a great shot at winning the state championship. And I mean, I'm a little biased, but some referee calls could have gone either way in the state championship game. But yeah, that game was 0-0, 0-0 all the way through. Went into 2 overtimes.
Yeah.
Just got unlucky at the end of the game, lost 1-0.
Yeah.
We have more guys coming back than left
Yeah.
because of injuries.
Yeah.
So, we're just really excited. And I know your jamboree question. Last year, we watched our jamboree film more than anything because, it's an opportunity where you can go out there and, you can also try things that you're not that are, it's risky to try in games. So, I know we're going to probably be testing out 2 or 3 different formations, and we're going to be watching a lot of film on to see how that works. 'Cause we got a lot of guys that aren't restricted to positions.
Yeah.
So, just from a soccer standpoint, this is.
Yeah.
We have it's a lot to just go out there and test and honestly have fun and just work everything out and prove how we worked so hard over the all season.
Perfect. Pumped to see those jamborees happen this weekend and see how that springboards us into the season. But right now, I'm going to do a little winter season preview of what's to come. We have bowling, powerlifting, soccer, and basketball, and we're just going to talk a little bit about all of these teams. Obviously, we're going to highlight them a lot throughout the winter, but just want to give the fans a little preview of what's to come. And I'm going to kick it off with bowling. Not a lot of people know we have a bowling team, but we do, and they go out there and practice just as much as the rest of y'all do. And put everything that they have into it. So we do have a new bowling coach this year. Zach Green, our defensive coordinator on the football team, is heading us up. He's going to be our bowling coach. He's excited about it. He's already started researching. Doesn't have any really history of coaching bowling, like most people don't, but he's really pumped about it. But Martin Rivers has kind of been the brains behind the operation over the last couple of years. He's one of those guys that bowls all the time, goes and gets in the tournaments. It's Lynn Rivers' husband, our secretary, and Lynn does so much great stuff for us. And Martin probably doesn't get enough praise for what he does with the bowling team. But last year, our girls finished 6th in district, and our boys finished 4th overall at district. Lost to graduation last year. Our Lana Knoll, Elric Upshaw, Braden Brannon, and Cameron Day. But we do have some returners coming back. We've got Tristan Williams, Bobby Dunn, Alfred Scruggs. We've got Steven Stewart, Ashton Walker, Campbell Baker, and Lily Harrion, and I think there's a lot more coming back as well. Those kids getting on the bus every day, going over to D'Iberville because we don't have a bowling alley here. So a little bit of puts them at some inconvenience, but they still go out there and practice 3 times a week and then go bowling those off days. And can't wait to get out there and see them. I know I got a chance to talk to Martin Rivers about it. He's expecting a big year from the boys. Hopefully that they can qualify for state, which would be big. And then the girls hoping for a top 4 finish in district, and maybe they get hot at the end of the year and get a chance to go bowl for a state championship. So I love these. I don't want to call them minor sports, but those sports that you don't hear a lot about, because it gives kids an opportunity to participate in things that maybe they're not involved in the athletic department. So it's just a great opportunity for them. And hopefully our fans will go out and just go watch a bowling event once or twice. Yeah. I've been out there several times over my 9 years as an athletic director, and it's just fun to watch kids put on that G that wouldn't normally put on that G and represent the school. So really excited about that season coming up, and we're going to move on to powerlifting, boys and girls powerlifting, one of our best programs in the athletic department. Wesley.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with the girls powerlifting. I think they had a good year last year, and they're looking forward to continue the momentum that they built.
Yeah.
I got a chance to interview Jordan Ladner, who is one of the key lifters coming back, and here's what she said. She said, "This year there was great expectations for our girls powerlifting team. We had a great group of girls that were interested and joined for this upcoming season, already putting in work conditioning and learning the determination for the sport. You can already set forth that the girls are so dedicated and ready to work for the state title this year." Then she said, "As a returner, I'm very excited and looking forward to see what this year has in place for us. We had a lot more girls join this year, which is amazing. It's a great group, very dedicated and determined, and she's super excited to share the experience with them. And it's going to be awesome whenever we start competing and work for that state title." So, shout out to Coach Wade and Coach Fallow. I think they're going to have the girls looking really good, and I'm excited to see what numbers they put up this year.
Yeah, Coach Fallow, he was in my office shortly after the season last year. I think he's trying to take it a little bit personally to get the girls up to the level of where the boys have been over the last several years. I've lost track. I think it's like 5 out of the last 6 years we've won a state. Is that right? For the boys.
Yes, sir.
But hopefully we can get the girls up doing those things. And I know with Coach Fallow's expertise, and Coach Wade also does an outstanding job just leading those girls. Can't wait to see what the girls do with the expectations that have been put on them this year.
Yes, sir, definitely. And then moving to boys powerlifting, I think it's our most successful sport in the past 10 years for sure.
Yeah.
They won. So 2010, they won 2011, and then with Coach Logan, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and then COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
And then 2022 and 2023. That's dynasty material.
Incredible.
I don't think that gets talked about enough. The work that those boys put in with Coach Logan, it's really impressive to see. I used to work out at the gym that they worked out at, and I would see them in there every day just grinding it out, and it's really impressive. I know they do. They go in there at night and stay really late and just put in a lot of extra work. So returning this year, we have Davis Orms, Hudson Williams, Sean Garcia, Clayton Wardenby, and Taylor Ladner, and also Sean McGill. I was talking to Davis and asking him. He said expectations were to win again without a doubt, win state.
Yeah.
They all have a lot of confidence. They're just super impressive what they do. Last year they lost 2 big losses are Jaden LeBlanc and Des Jordan. I think they both set state records for their respective lifts last year.
Those guys are incredible. Some of the numbers that they put up, it just blows your mind.
Yeah.
Like, it hurts my back to even think about some of that weight that they're putting on their bodies and just doing it easily sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then look out for Davis Orms, Taylor Ladner, Sean McGill, and Hudson Williams to step up. I think they're all expecting to win their own personal weight class as well and get those points for the team at state. And then Hudson Williams, he's returning to dominate his weight class again. I think he won last year in his weight class, and I know that he's expecting to put up some big numbers again. So shout out to all those boys, and it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, and we talked about dynasty, and it really is.
Yeah.
Gulfport has a history of putting together dynasties. The boys basketball program, 9 state championships, the track program, 11 state championships, and now the powerlifting team. Just incredible. Our girls soccer team has done some great things with soccer championships. Our boys soccer team has won state championships. But what they're doing right now is absolutely incredible. What kind of pride do you take in that trip, knowing that our powerlifting team, we can say how strong they are?
I mean, it's proud to be an Admiral, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good friends with a lot of those guys, and I mean, they're just ecstatic. And it's not that they're like, they're always just gotta go lift.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just not something that they think twice about doing. Like, it's just a lifestyle for them, and that's what a dynasty is. Like, It's awesome to see. Like, we'll just be hanging out or like playing cards or something, and Davis will be like, I gotta go to the gym.
Yeah.
I gotta go lift. And it's not go do what I do at the gym and do abs. I mean, he's putting 600 pounds and deadlifting it. Like, it's not like that. I mean, it's awesome to see like the dedication and what those guys are really putting in, and they all do it together.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
And no signs of slowing down,
no.
really. No signs of slowing down. I think they're going to continue to do that for a long time to come. All right, Tripp, you're on the clock. I know you're passionate about this subject, but we can't sit here and talk about it for 2.5 hours.
Speaking of
give
dynasty.
give us a little soccer preview.
So I'm just going to have a list, so I'm going to try and stay on the list.
We'll keep you on task.
So I will start with the girls. The girls last year finished 22-2. This is not
Incredible.
that's not the record that's on Max Preps, but I plugged in some of those games, like the classic games.
Yeah.
That we play certain games in between. They're technically in season, so they should count to the record. And then Jamboree games obviously aren't counted. But they lost 2 games, Clinton in the state championship and Ocean Springs. I was at both of those games. Both competitive games that they should have. I mean, not should have won, but I mean they went and beat OS twice again at the end of the season. So I mean, it's not like crazy to think that could have gone either way. And then Clinton game was 1-0 down to the wire almost the whole game.
Yeah.
They put chances in. They second place finished in the state last year.
Heartbreaking loss there. We took a bus of 100 kids up there. It was awesome to see them cheering in the stands. Some of them probably had never been to a soccer game before. It was fun to watch that. It was heartbreaking, but we were proud of the Lady Admirals.
And like we talked about earlier, they graduated a lot of really talented seniors. I know Abby Batterack, Mary Frances Sims both went on to play D1. Layla Johnson didn't actually get a chance to play last year, but she graduated and she was a big piece on the field her first 4 years because all those girls have been playing since middle school. But off the field, I know she was a good mind to have, and she pushed them very hard to get where they are. So they did graduate very much talent, but they have some returning starters, Kate Ackerman, Madison Payne, Chloe Brock, Kylie Comstock, all girls that saw a lot of the field last year that are going to play again this year and be big parts of those teams. And they have a really strong, close-knit senior group for sure. They do a lot of activities off the field together. So
I went to Escape House with them last week. That was a lot of fun. It seems like they mesh really well together. Yeah.
And my list says top newcomers. I'm not really sure. I know Wesley's sister, actually, Elsie. She's probably going to see the field some more this year. And I know they do have a lot of talent in that sophomore class. Yeah. Because they have a bunch of sophomores that kind of got outshined by those seniors last year. Yeah. Because those are very strong classes, I think. So I think we'll start to see more of those sophomores come on to play.
It's hard to know who the newcomers are until you actually start playing. Yeah.
And I think that you, outside of your own team, it's hard to see who the newcomers are too. Because I have a pretty good idea of who's going to come up for the boys, but not the girls. Yeah. So speaking of that, over to the boys. That completes my list for the girls. So the boys, 19-6-1 last year. We ran into some trouble playing some number 1 team in Florida. We played Clinton twice, tied them once, lost once. That's the team that ended up winning the state championship. Honestly, very beatable team. But we dropped a couple games we should have there in the middle of the year. I say we finished 3rd in the state, but technically it could have been either 3rd or 4th. But it came. The top 4 were Clinton, Brandon, us, and Starkville. So that's who finished in those last 4.
Yeah, I got to watch the South State Championship. It was a very physical game. As you mentioned, there were some calls maybe that could have gone one way or the other, and it may have made a difference. I think you actually got hurt in that game, too. It was a very physical ball game. So looking forward to this year.
I got concussed at the end of that game. not a very fond moment. But actually, we had one senior that consistently played that graduated last year. We had a senior class of 5, and I'm not going to say that they didn't help us a lot. They were very mental, but a lot of our talent has come from my class, which is staying on the field this year. So we graduated our captain, Leighton Key, one senior that impacted us a lot, and we're sad to not have him, but it's pretty easy to say that we've been able to fill it. Mm-hmm. Not the leadership side, but definitely on the field so far. We've been able to fill those gaps because of how strong. We have a really good junior group. We have a really good senior group, and I really like our 9th grade group, and we have very strong sophomores too. So, I think there's success for years to come, but this year's, we just have to win now. I think for the expectations, championship.
I think we're kind of all in with that. Yeah. I think the expectation is state championship. That's a hard expectation to fulfill, but I think our coaching staff needs a lot of credit. Coach Donovan, I think, does a great job for y'all. Well, tell me a little bit about what it means to have such a good coach on your side.
I think it's awesome because, if you look at 2 years ago, we had a team that probably could have competed for a state championship that ended up not making the playoffs. Brought a new coach on board, lost 6 starters to injury, South State championship, probably could have gone to state.
Yeah.
Just a lot of those adjustments, and he works us so hard, but also off the field, he's a coach and a friend.
He's an awesome person.
He's a
awesome
guy.
coach, awesome person. Yeah.
And that helps a lot too, because to have a coach that I can pretty much bring anything to him. A lot of my recruiting stuff I've been through him, and it's awesome to have him on our side. Yeah. Some newcomers like we talked about for the girls. Actually, probably if not our best player, one of our best players, Devin Beeman, senior.
Yeah.
He broke his leg at the beginning of November, our 4th game last year. So we lost him all year. He's a monster goal scorer, had 6 goals through 4 games last year. 6 goals, 8 assists through 4 games last year.
It's going to be big to have him back.
We scored 15 goals in those games. Devin contributed to 14 of them. The other one was a free kick.
Yeah.
So, huge to have him back. And then we have one freshman coming through on varsity. His name's Caden Creedus. He's a dog on the ball. He's really smart and intelligent. I think he'll see some quality play time this year. But it's going to be really tough as an underclassman, honestly, to see the field. We had Eduardo Cotto, who got some run in the playoffs last year just because of injuries, but he's Honduran, born and raised in Honduras. He's just insane watching him play, and I think he's learning a lot come over, and he's been very well for us, so I think that's another name to mention up there. But I could talk for 20 more minutes, but I can't. But I'm really excited to go to watch both the boys and the girls come on board. So
awesome, good deal. Appreciate that report there, Tripp. And we're gonna move on to girls and boys basketball. Both those teams in similar situations lost a lot to graduation. There's going to be a lot of new players in the mix. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. We talked about it earlier. When you have so many newcomers, you don't really know what to expect. But just to give a little bit of a report, first of all, starting with the girls. The girls finished 23-10 last year. They lost to Harrison Central in the Elite Eight, so one win away from getting a chance to play in the Big House in Jackson. Lost to graduation or Micah and Maddie Odell, who are off to Division I Robert Morris to play. Those are big losses to overcome. And then Sinai Price was another loss to graduation. 3 really good seniors that led us. Had a bulk of our points, a bulk of our assists. They showed some leadership out there. So that's tough to fill. I know that's only 3 kids, but that's 3 big names to lose right there. So returning players, we're going to have a lot to try to plug that gap right there. And it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic falls into place. Savannah Grimsley is one of those returners. I know she's about to have surgery on her ankle that we talked about to get back from swim season. Majori Avery, Sky Bush, Kamara Rockingham, Trinity Moore, Liana Baker, Megan Cooks, and Samaya Harper, just some of those kids that are returning that look to kind of fill some roles in there. And then newcomers, Nia James, was a transfer. Mina Hill, who's an 8th grader, actually going to play up on varsity. And then Shemaiah Walker, big 6'2" freshman out there. So hopefully she can help us out a little bit. Expectations from the coaches, basically, hey, let's go out and work hard. Let's compete every single day. And hopefully at the end of the year they're ready for a playoff push. And then on the boys' side, the boys had another good year, went 20-9, lost in the first round of the playoffs to Terry, who ended up playing in the Final Four. So not a really bad loss, but again, a lot of names lost to graduation. Kamari Mitchell, Kylan Howes, Jalen Howes, who are all going to Jones to play basketball. Tyrell Seawright, E.J. Collier, Keanu Patrick, and then Matt Kraft transferred back to St. Patrick. Kind of stinks to lose him. We got some returners. Amir Abdul-Rauf, the one returner with a lot of experience, so he'll be back. And then we've got C.J. Burnham, Chance Gaines, and R.J. Robinson, some of those returners. Expectations pretty similar to the girls' side, where the expectation is, hey, just go out and compete, get yourself better, and let's look to make a push at the end of the season for the playoffs. New head coach Steve Hesser's installing his system, so it's going to be exciting to see them play. But we're gonna kind of wrap this thing up with our parting shot for the day, and just have a little bit of a roundtable discussion. You know, big ball game. We talked about it earlier this Friday night at Milner Stadium, playing Ocean Springs. Ocean Springs has, we talked about it on the last episode. They've owned us the last 3 years. They've been able to win. In the off season, we actually went and got their head coach and brought him over. I think there's going to be probably some emotions on both sides. Obviously Coach Pennick and Coach Green came over from Ocean Springs. They're going to have some emotions because they love those players over there. And then those kids over there, I'm sure, probably aren't too happy about them coming over here. So, there's going to be emotions on that side. On our side, you guys lost one of your fellow classmates, went over to Ocean Springs with Christian Diller going over there. We talked about the numbers. We talked about everything. There's been a lot of prognosticators about who's the best team, what's the difference in the two teams. What it's going to come down to is the field, and that's what you love about sports, is they're not played on paper, they're played on the field, on the court, in the swimming pool. Expectations for Friday night, guys. What do you think, Wesley?
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, the tail of the tape, it's dead even almost, Both teams are really solid, have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be as close of a game you can get in high school football. I think the emotions are going to be high. There's going to be fans from both sides. We want to encourage our fans to show up early, be engaged with the game. I was remembering when we played Madison Central, we had a pretty big group of fans there, and I know at the end of the game, we were getting loud, and I know the refs lost that game, I guess you could say, but
well, we talked about it before. Never put the game in refs' hands. Ever. Don't do that.
But I know our fans were really good that game, so I'm just hoping that we can all show up, support our boys, and it should be a fun night.
Trip.
Oh man, I don't want to say something I shouldn't say, but like you said, I mean, I have to give it to OS. They've had a really good program, really good team the last couple of years. Went to South State last year against Oak Grove. I mean, they ended up winning the state championship. Oak Grove did,
Oak Grove. No, they lost to Brandon. Brandon played in the state championship against Starkville. They actually beat Oak Grove on the way to the South State championship game last year. So
but they've had success in the playoffs, and a very good team. So, but I think this year, I mean, it could be way different. I think not that they don't have as good as a team we have, as good as a team as them, if not better. I mean,
well, we're about to find out.
We are.
So I think the big thing is I very highly doubt there's going to be a blowout on either side. It's one of those things where you expect it to be a really close ball game. and hopefully, like I said, we can prevent that turnover, because I think the turnover aspect is going to be the big key in the ball game.
Yeah.
But another big key is, I'm going to challenge our fans to go be loud. Don't sit on your hands. Be an active participant in the game. When there's a big third down and our defense needs to get off the field, get on your feet and cheer those guys on. We score a touchdown and the fireworks go off. Get on your feet and cheer them on. Be that home field advantage, and that's why it's called home field advantage. So I just want to challenge our fans to be there, be loud, be proud, and cheer on our Admirals and get us that first big win of the year that could springboard us to a long run in the playoffs.
For sure.
Once again, guys, appreciate both of you. I think it's been great. Can't wait for next week and everything that we bring to the plate. And until next week, hoo-yah.